guys, welcome to the Summer 2014 European Challenger Series, brought to you thanks in part to our friends at Coca-Cola. I'm David Freak Turley. Alongside me is Aiden Zyrene Moon. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm really excited to be back.
Yeah.
Step up my game and see if everybody else steps up theirs too in the Challenger scene.
See if they can do it, guys. So All-Star Paris 2014 is over. It means it's time to wipe off the baguette crumbs and kick off another epic season of the Challenger Series.
And if you're new and take their spot. And yesterday, the top 20 squads fought in a one-game elimination round, and here are the 10 victors.
Yeah, so we have 5 games on tap today. Up first is No Mercy against Chanteau Martwau. Our second game is Gamers 2 versus Heavy Bot Lane. Up third, Lublin Shore will battle against GG Colnash.
And after that, Tricked takes on SK Gaming Prime. And in our final game of the day, it's Unicorns of Love versus Kappa Team.
Twitch chat, you guys know what to do. These 10 teams are now in a best-of-1 elimination scenario. You lose today, and your visions of LCS glory go splat.
But if you win, it's off to the round of 8, where you might go up against the 3 teams who fell just short in the Summer Promotion Tournament. Ninjas in Pajamas, Denial Esports, and Cloud9 Eclipse. All 3 teams are back in the Challenger Series and eagerly watching today to see which teams they'll be facing.
And if you were wondering if there was some kind of magical website that keeps track of all this knowledge, you're in luck. The wizards at lolesports.com have conjured up everything you need.
Yeah, there you'll find, under the Leagues and Tournaments tab, all the info you'll need to follow the Challenger Series and figure out that Magic isn't real.
Why would you say that?
Because it's not.
I hate you a little bit. Well, just to underline what's at stake today, even though none of the top Spring EU Challenger teams were able to move into the LCS as a group, several players made enough of a splash during the Challenger season that they were signed onto pro teams.
Yeah, that's right. Airwalks from Heavy Bot Lane and Coast Gold is now signed as the new jungler for the Copenhagen Wolves, where he also is joined by his new AD carry, Woolite, who is formerly of Denial Esports.
And Woolite's former Denial teammate, Nick, is now joining Gambit Gaming as their mid laner, because Alex Itch is now in Ninjas in Pajamas. He stepped down. He's going to top lane for these guys. Now, these signings really showcase the level of talent in the Challenger League, so you guys might see the next big players right now in front of us.
Yeah, there might be some stars here that will end up in the LCS, regardless of whether or not their team ends up there, if they showcase their talent.
It's a good place to show yourself off. So the teams are getting ready for a preliminary matchup, going to be ready to go. Now, today's first win or stay home elimination game is No Mercy versus Chanteau Martwau.
Yeah, and whether you win or lose, you are pretty much going to stay home until we get to those later games. But until then, you can be really comfortable in your chair at home, seeing what they can bring. But No Mercy.
Yeah.
They've been comfortable in their chairs, being that #1 seed in the Nordic East region. Yeah. And Nordic East, competing with West has always been one of those just clashes, and now they have one of those teams here. So the Nordic East, they are the only team for No Mercy, or No Mercy is the only team from Nordic East, to qualify to the round of 10 that didn't
by
get
directly
a
winning.
Yeah, they actually won a game. Whereas we have another team later on that we're going to see here from Nordic East who had a forfeit, unfortunately, but they are here, so good for them. But here it's No Mercy versus Chanteau Martwau.
Yes.
And looking at their round of 20 stats here, we see that both top laners had Deathless Shyvana games. They both really prioritized that champion. You said earlier today to me that you think Shyvana is the best top laner, right?
I think she's the most popular one. I don't know if she's necessarily best. I think there's matchups that are good against her.
Yeah.
I like Jax against her because I don't think she can really bully out Jax and it gives him a lane. But as far as popular, split pushes well, joins team fights well, powerful by around level 6 already, it's just a good all-around top laner pick.
Yeah, and she can farm pretty safely. Even if it's a Rise, you can just max Flame Breath first.
Exactly.
And go ahead and CS from a distance. So looking at them overall, though, Raxo, the support player for No Mercy, is #1 here in solo queue in Nordic East. And he's also joined by 2 other members who are in the top 6 here. So they have 3 people in that top 6 region.
Yeah, 3 guys top 6, 4 of them are Challenger in general. They're sub-mid laners, a Diamond 1 player as well. So it's it's a lot of individual skill, and I always want to see how that translates. For example, one of the teams we saw, and I guess we will see them in a couple of weeks, Cloud9 Eclipse was a team that was all about solo queue all-stars that was trying to get coordination together. We're going to see now how the teams shape up once they're playing together in this one.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about No Mercy, but Chanteau Martwau, they have a very familiar top laner here, Van Es, and I talked about his Deathless Shyvana game. They also have Avenue in the mid lane, who played Orianna. He went 4-1 and 10 for 14 KDA, but also had 80% kill participation while putting up 250 CS at the 25-minute mark. So not only was he farming, he was part of the majority of the fights. Having 80% kill participation and that much CS is very difficult to do in a game of that duration.
Yeah.
So it's the second fastest game. There was just by about 30 seconds there. 25-20 was their game time. So they closed games out very quickly. We're going to have to see how No Mercy sticks against that.
Yeah, I mean, Shantou, they're the number 2 seed out of EU West versus the number 1 seed from Nordic East. So it's a really a high-tier clash right there. Also, you talked about Avenue. He's top 20 in the solo queue ladder as well, so it's going to be a tough one. So Lee Sin, Ziggs the ban away from SMW, Thresh being banned away from No Mercy. We'll see what else these guys think about.
Yeah, and once again, this is 4.6, so Jax Kha'Zix is very powerful. Haven't had the isolation nerf under turrets or the range to it, and also the fact that the turrets split pushing is still very effective, but we saw at All-Stars that there are some counters to that, and we might see that whipped out here.
Yeah, also, Cassin was a permaban at All-Star as well. Got picked up and was Fnatic's probably best game of the tournament there. They almost took an SKT with it, so...
Yeah, still the 0.8 ratio on his Q, his Null Sphere, so that he has that shield instead of 0.3. So, pretty big difference there. It allows him to lane against people like Ziggs very effectively, and he's very still ban-worthy right now.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see. I mean, you've got one ban left, and if it's not, you might see him get picked up here. It just depends if the teams can play the champion or not. Lee Sin, Ziggs, Morgana also added to the ban pool there. Sazed did play that yesterday, so they moved that champion away from him. Does make a whole bunch of sense in this one. And now we'll see what the last ban is for Shantou.
Yeah, and both supports have played Morgana, and both had great performances on it. I'm a little surprised that No Mercy banned their own Morgana away. They must have something else in mind. Thresh was banned out, though, so that might have been a tell. Then we'll have to see.
Well, we're going
a lot of support bans across the board here.
Yeah, this kind of forces actually Raxo onto Leona. You look at his most played in solo queue, and Thresh ban, Morgana ban, Karma ban. The next two are Leona, Janna, and you don't really see a lot of Janna. Now maybe it comes through. We actually saw a team play it in Split 2 in EU, but we'll see. I think that does force it, and so it allows SMW to have an assumed pick, and they can play around it.
And there's some fun things here that are still on the table. Annie's still out there, Leona's still out there, but Lulu and Blitzcrank are actually something that Sazed plays a lot of. Blitzcrank is his second most played behind Thresh, and his Thresh actually has a lot more games. I think it's about twice as many as his Blitzcrank. Yeah, he's
pretty much every support player plays Thresh whenever available.
Yeah, but Blitzcrank, he's I love the hooks. Yeah, it's Hook City for Sazed right now.
I'd say he's hooked on them.
Yeah, he's definitely hooked on those champions. And so we see Lucian being picked up first here. And this is 4.6, and we see kind of the dynamic shifting from Lucian being the first pick to Twitch being the first pick.
Yeah.
Almost all of the time.
It was the big deal at All-Stars, and the interesting thing is I was talking to Crepo about it, actually. And he was Twitch is a very specific champion. You actually have to learn Twitch more than just I'm an AD carry player, I'll just play this guy instead. If you're bad at Twitch, you're a liability. You've actually got to play Twitch properly, get those picks, get the stealth ganks and whatnot. So if you don't learn the champion properly, it's not worth going for it yet.
It's a different dynamic, and he brings a new dimension to the game, because not only is he an AD carry, he's also an assassin. Yeah. When you get to that point where you have 1 or 2 kills on you, or 1 or 2 kills over your lane opponent, you are a huge threat to them. Play the Rim King. I mean, even sort of the Divines show up on top of somebody and just pop them. Yep. So Twitch has that whole new dimension to him, aside from just being a backliner. He can be I'm right next to you.
Well, we'll see if he shows up in this one, but speaking of assassins, Aurelia and Kha'Zix both got locked in for Shantou Maktwal, and you were telling me earlier, Aurelia, Vanessa's favorite top laner there, so they've got power picks and comfort picks here in the top and jungle lanes.
Yeah, so Kha'Zix is extremely powerful. That also takes away from Spellfang, who played that in the round of 20, so that's doubly effective there. And Vanessa, yes, like you said, Aurelia is his favorite champion. He's been playing that since Season 2. And Vanessa's been playing for about 4 years now, almost 5. He's basically been playing since release, since he was very young, I think 14. So he's been honing his skills, and now he's in the challenger scene, so he's definitely made his way up that ladder.
Yeah, a lot of experience out there. We're going to see if he can keep his way in, move on to the round of 8. Over on the left-hand side, No Mercy picked up Pantheon jungle for this one, and Lulu, which could be mid or support.
And this is, once again, before we added the little delay on Pantheon's ultimate, which I just learned today. It's actually a change that we implemented where when you ultimate, you cannot cast spells falling from it. Exactly. Which is a very healthy change. Because it's kind of I'm out of the circle.
As an AD carry player, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, you're very happy about it because it's I'm almost out of the circle and you get out of it, but it's he's coming down at you and he's already hit you with an Aegis of Zionia. Yeah. And you're just okay, that's not fun.
Yeah.
But now he basically has to go all the way down. But we're not going to see that here.
By 4.6.
So the Lulu pickup here, it could be a mid lane Lulu. It is somewhere in Meister's champion pool, but it could be that support, which would basically leave Sazed with Leona, forcing him onto that, or Blitzcrank.
Or something he doesn't play very much of,
Yeah, there we go.
Well, so Leona gets picked up here for Sazed. The Jinx in there as well, so an aggressive bot lane's available. Honestly, Shantau's team is entirely aggro. Yeah, they have the go in button and that's it.
But the thing is, if they're all going in, you get to be standing where you were, and you're already the back line.
That's true.
It's just like they engaged for me. I don't have to peel backwards. And Shantou played Jinx in the round of 20. He went 10, 2, and 5 on that for 7.5 KDA. But they also fed all of the kills into him. He had half the kills of his team. So he had the 75% kill participation, but 10 of the kills out of the 20 were directly onto him and into his pocket. So they funnel a lot of gold into him while they split push with Vaness. And if Vaness can win his lane in the top lane by himself, that's going to be a huge boon for the team.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that one-on-one goes there, Shyvana versus Aurelia. It is, as we talked about, right? Soraka's going through the mid. Lulu support is going to be there up against Leona. They're happy to play that matchup. They could have gone somewhere else with it, but with Leona being grabbed, Orianna does get locked in for Avenue, so second time for him as well. And he's just going to be there to supplement all the engage. Put the ball onto Aurelia, Leona, or Kha'Zix, and more people get knocked up.
It's a very utility-heavy team here for No Mercy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because SMW had the last pick, they were able to pick the Orianna, which is, we've talked about it before, one of the counters to Soraka. She can't really hold a candle to that in lane. She can do pretty decently. But these are both champions that they both played during the round of 20. And the performance that Meister had on Soraka was a 2, 3, and 8, basically just being utility for his team. And now we see the Orianna who does really well against that.
Right.
The same Orianna that Avenue had so much CS with and high kill participation.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's one that I expect to go in the favor of Orianna, but it's something that all the players talk about when they're fighting against FLICKR in the mid lane at All-Star, was that he would crush you in winning matchups, and then in ones he's supposed to lose, he would find a way to squeak his way through it anyway. And it's like, if you outskill your opponent, you can go to a bad matchup and play it out. Now, again, we talked about it's probably not the likely situation here. Avenue's an amazingly good player, but it's something to watch for. Is like, even though we talk about these counter picks and the fact that a lane should go well, you can always outplay your opponent.
Yeah, and I was actually talking with Complexity, formerly
Just Complexity.
Yeah, I was going to say Complexity Black, but then I was like, Complexity, former Complexity Black. And they were saying that probably in scrims, he'll actually pick some losing matchups to practice it.
Good choice.
He's like, if we're blue side, sometimes I will get stuck with this matchup. I need to practice it. We won't always be able to, go ahead and go into a matchup and know what we're facing.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you just have to do that. And FLICKR, he does that in competitive play too. He's like, I will play this matchup because you know what? I have to learn it. I have to learn it.
Yeah, and it's something that's actually really interesting about teams that scrim and whatnot is I asked a lot of the LCS teams back when, a couple months ago when Cassidy was permabanned the first time around, and it was like, I'm surprised like none of you are like letting it go through to counterpick it because I feel like it's doable, and most teams are telling me that Cassidy would win games by himself, and then the first few times we saw Cassidy picked an NA, people beat him. They would find a way to beat the comp anyway. So, yeah, people learning the matchups, learning how to play against the popular champions or play as them in their own bad matchups. Something that's very much worth doing. So, getting ourselves into the game now. No Mercy on blue. Shantou, Machtwao in the red, and they're both pretty hiding towards the top side of the jungle.
It's like a mix of Japanese or Chinese and German.
Yeah.
Mandarin and German.
Macht is make. Shantou, both a philosopher or poet.
Buddhist poet?
I think. Also the name of the AD carry. So he makes, and I don't know what
he makes WoW.
He makes WoW.
Spelt W-A-U.
Why not? Gonna make it happen here in this one. Someone's gonna tweet me and be like, "You guys are dumb." It's obviously this reference.
Well, it's got to be something. It's got to be a reference to something.
Yeah.
That, or they just jumbled up 3 names. Nobody does that. NASA's Explorers.
That's fine.
Just name different tiers.
This is always the thing with casting Challenger for the first time is we're gonna get some of the names wrong, and I apologize if we butcher your names, guys. Tweet us, tell us the actual pronunciation.
If you are the player or you know exactly how to say it, please.
Shout out to Sinan Odwamna, who's like had multiple Twitter conversations with me now about how to say his name, and I'm apparently the best of the Western casters at getting it right.
So they're all going to go in here. It's 4v5 though. Soraka is not there.
Oh man, completely planned. Spellfang goes down 1 for 0. There's the Glitterlance. Sakutska also dying 2 for 0. SMW knows that invade. They saw it before. They waited for it.
Since these are the 90-second turrets, or 90-second trinkets, you cannot ward that early, so they decided to go with the invade. It was a little bit of a delayed invade, but they didn't even start the red. SMW played that perfectly, and that is 2 kills just falling into their hands with assists across the board on everybody. That's going to upset all of these lanes in their favor just immensely.
Yeah, that's a research level 1 if I've ever seen one.
Oh,
that is knowing that invade's coming through. So, gonna get ourselves back into the lanes. It is gonna be 2-on-2 and 1-on-1, by the way. So, both teams want to put their dual lanes to the top side. The teleport coming in for both Vanas and Sakutka. Get themselves the start of their lanes.
It looked like No Mercy was hoping that they put the 2 in the bottom lane just so that Jinx and Leona would be there. And then if you invaded, you would have the numbers advantage. But Meister was already mid, and it wouldn't have made a difference, actually, because how quickly Spellfang got destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
That was incredibly quick. That was remarkable.
Immediate. So we're
I've never seen somebody blow up that quickly in a level 1.
Yeah, me either. That was ludicrously great. So 2-kill lead early on, of course. Being that it is the 2014 season, it's not. It's 280 gold for the first one, 180 for the second. So it's not a gigantic gold swing, but it doesn't matter. 900 gold lead right now for SMW. I do want to see how this matchup goes, though. Vanna's hitting level 3 first, getting some damage down. Look at that. Half HP on this poor Shyvana, and going to be forced to chug potions. You can see 16-7 already. This is a great lead for the red team.
And the fact that they picked up all those kills, that early experience spread across them, gives them a lane advantage in every lane. At this point, No Mercy, they have to look for Spellfang to get to that level 6 and start causing ganks in these lanes, because them winning them by themselves is virtually impossible at this point.
It's going to be real difficult.
Like up top, though, that might be something that tilts in their favor, because Lucian has double the CS. He's got her underneath the turret.
Yeah.
But it's Leona. Leona can always swap and engage on, but Lulu would have to peel back. So there's a lot of just what could possibly happen in this top lane, and this is going to be one of the hinges. And we're going to see, there's the engage right there, and the trap.
Shielded, takes the trap to the face as well. Down to half HP, but gets damage back onto Shantal. But look at this, Leona still chasing down. 150 health left onto Lulu. And to continue your point about, yeah, the leads, the XPs are a very real one, though most of these lanes didn't get to recall yet. So the money is just sitting there in their pockets unused.
They'd have to take advantage of this early laning phase. And a lot of people don't back until about level 6, especially in the top lane, unless you get poked out really hard or there's jungle pressure.
AD carries typically choose to back when they have a BF sword.
Yeah.
BF sword and a couple of potions to make sure they don't get pushed out right after. But that is going to be generally first for Shantal and Co. But the fact that there's a 7 CS lead means the gold is actually, I think, actually in the favor of No Mercy's bottom lane right here, which would give them the first recall. Spellfang, though, coming up. Walking through a ward. The engage comes in right at the wrong time, though, and Says, nice splash over the traps right there. Says not a good spot there. Does still have the summoners up if he needs them. Gets exhausted as well. Good damage comes through. When's he going to leave? There he goes. Heal is still available on Jinx. Going to get away.
Spellfang decides not to continue chasing. They had no vision on Kha'Zix, but in the mid lane, Meister's forced to blow his own heal.
Wow, so summoner spells burned on both sides there. The ball hits again an Avenue. 33-38 in minions, but forces the first recall.
So this is, once again, 4.6, so the Grievous Wounds is still removed. This is the patch where you can't stack heals on top of each other.
Correct.
So that, well, you can, they're just half as effective.
Yes.
But now we see Vanez is actually going to lose a little bit of pressure in this lane unless he applies it again with that little bit of mana he has. Because he has the potion taking.
Well, we'll see. The sustain's going to be petering out. Both guys do have teleport back available, and they're on the correct side of the map for a dragon anyway, so burning that TP doesn't exactly hurt them.
And you can see Sekutka has been putting points into his Flame Breath so he can farm safely.
Yeah, you can't get into an auto attack trade.
No, Aurelia will just beat you flat right. And the fact that he has that experience lead, he's always going to hit that next level just a little bit sooner.
So the recall comes through, and Shyvana does want some lifesteal to hold on to this lane a little bit more. So Vamp's after a couple more potions as well. We're going to see when the recall comes through for Aurelia. Satane, he knows there's no wards in the river. So Sekutka gonna face check on this one. There's the W slow. Gonna get stunned up as well by Vanna's big damage comes through, forcing the flash. Gonna let him get away, but he's at half health now. Raxo very low as well. This bottom lane, they were down in CS, but it looks like SMW, they're finding ways to get damage in.
Yeah, the duo lane is definitely applying pressure now in the reverse order. Jinx is now coming to that point where she has the range. She's able to trade with Lucian from afar. And it looked like Sazed, the synergy that they have in that bottom lane, Shantal, aptly named after the team.
Yeah.
He's definitely got his matchups down. He knows, play safe. It's okay, I'll give up some CS, but I'll get it back later.
Yeah, he's playing a really, really good match overall. Vanez push under the turret, holds on to a 19 CS lead, and he's going to recall back, pick up maybe a Phage or so. We'll see what he can afford in this one. Sheen, all right, more burst damage than that one. I think that's actually the more normal first item by an Aurelia. I don't know my Aurelia builds that well.
Well, he was having mana problems too. You can see how much he was harassing.
Yeah.
So he wants to go ahead and add a little bit more. He picks up some potions for himself so he can continue to harass against the resourceless other top laner.
Sure.
I guess he's the bottom laner now. The solo lane.
The solo lane. That's not in mid.
Sekutka.
Yep. So Shyvana.
I mean, granted all the funny names to us, they actually sound pretty cool when you get them down.
Yeah, it's true.
Like Sekutka. You're like, oh, that sounds so
I
awesome.
figured I had that one in the first place.
Yeah.
I didn't feel so bad about that one.
Watch it turn out to be like, no, it's something else.
Yeah, it's like completely backwards. It's actually spelled like in reverse, and we're just like completely stupid. We'll see how it goes. So
I just tried to figure out what it was backwards.
it's nothing, right?
There's this one player whose name backwards is something.
Katarina?
Katarina, yeah.
Near attack.
Yeah, the near attack. Exactly. I
Yep.
was like, oh, it could have been one of those.
It wasn't.
You got to check him.
Zenev, the Aurelia player. Meister's pretty straightforward. That one I got. Avenue also not too hard in this one. So back to the duo lane, though, we go. We'll talk about the builds here. These guys both got to recall pretty safely. CS pretty equal, but both on BF swords, as well as the supports holding pretty equal builds as well. Tier 1 GP10 into half a Sightstone. So these guys, honestly, they've held equal. The gold lead, though, I got to point out, is actually growing in Shantao's favor. Started with a 900 gold lead, now 1,500. So the laning phase excelling for the red team.
That's mostly due to that gank down bottom and the fact that Vanes is already having a little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah.
And now Satane, he's going to invade here, look for a red buff on himself. But he's already got his own. And Pantheon, Spellfang has his. So level 6s will be coming out here for both junglers. And now Satane, he's in a great position to go ahead and flank. But he's not going to go for it. Looks like he's going to go back.
Interesting. So, I mean, Shyvana does have her ulti available, but this is the kind of situation where you
he knows
can
she doesn't have
force
flash.
it. Yeah, to me, it's kind of worth burning the cooldown. I mean, it does show the fact that you're not anywhere else but bottom lane, so it allows like kind of free ganks from Pantheon. And yeah, it looks like he kind of like prefer to stay off the map for now.
Yeah, so they were getting pink ward control for SMW on that top lane side. They have one by the red buff. They had one in that tri-bush. And then they went ahead and No Mercy said, we're going to go clear this out. If they try to get us, then Spellfang can go ahead and leap in. But now Spellfang coming straight up the lane. There is a ward in that second bush, though.
Well, we'll see. Will he go any farther forward in this one? The ward's got about 20 seconds left till it disappears. Braxton puts the pink ward down to make sure. He stepped out of the brush. Spellfang stepped out, I'm pretty sure.
Up. The jig is up. He's caught.
He's going to recall his way back.
Oh, if he goes back, though, Satane is up in the top lane. Now, Satane's actually very fond of going to a lane, sitting there for a couple seconds, and then just starting his back. And he's like, if anything happens, I'll be here, but I'm really going backwards.
Yeah. It looks like neither jungler finding any real ganks just yet, but it is worth pointing out. Elder Lizard already done. Nice little check there by Jinx. Tries to make sure Pantheon has gone back. And he has. Spellfang looks for the bottom lane, though. No one's around to stop the
one. He's going to jump.
And the fight's already started. Vanes has already gone in for the battle. Low health right there. Has to dash back to a minion. Trying to escape now near the tri-brush.
He did kill the minion, so he has the Blade Surge reset.
It's a good stun.
And
He has flash, so is the burst enough? It is not. Vanes gets over the wall. Good escape.
That was the flash by Spellfang. But, of course, Dragon's Descent was already used to try and push Vanes back into the Grand Skyfall.
Very well played escape right there. Trades flash for flash, ulti for ulti. Otherwise, pretty much safe in this one. So
that was a necessary gank there. Because he at least, even though he didn't kill him, he got the flash, which means that Sekutka now has flash advantage in the lane. And a repeat gank would be much more effective at this point. He needs to revisit that lane and start getting it back in their favor, because that's where most of the CS discrepancy is in that bottom lane or the solo top lane. So look at that, 26 between them. That's where it's really coming from. That's the big chunk of it. And if they can get that back, and also if they get a gank on him, that frees up a dragon for them.
True.
That would get them right back in this game and basically negate those 2 kills.
See if they can find it right there. Cortazan taking a bit of poke. Shield did not quite come through in time. Spellfang looking to maybe repeat this gank in the bottom lane. No one is around to stop him. Satane's on the wrong side of the map. Vanes puts a ward down to try to spot some of these moves.
And there's a ward for Vanes right there.
Yeah.
Yep. It was hiding behind the other ward.
Sneaky.
Looked like that ward
was already invisible.
It looked like that ward was a turncoat. It was like, I'm done with this side. Swapping to red.
Can't believe the ward would do that. Betraying ward.
And look at Satane, speaking of betraying wards, stabs it right in the back. But look at that. We see Avenue is making his way down. He's looking for a flank there, but nope, sniffs it out.
All right, looks like everyone's going to be safe for this one. No gank happens for Pantheon. Wasted about 30 seconds down there, but was standing on a ward. Satane, again, counter jungling this whole time. He's been doing this over and over and over again as Kha'Zix going into the enemy jungle. And even though the CS lead doesn't even look that big between the junglers, Satane's CS is on bigger camps than Spellfang, so the gold difference is actually pretty massive.
Yeah, also the fact that he was able to get that deep ward down right now. The blue buff will be up in time for that. It's around the 12-minute mark currently.
Yeah.
So he's going to go ahead and wait for his timer to hand off the blue buff to Orianna, and then they'll make their way over there. Because judging by the timer when he last checked the enemy red, and they weren't there, he knows that the red was done first, then the blue. And now look at this, repeat gank bottom onto Vanez.
Gonna try again. Vanez once again on the wrong side for this Pantheon. Siobhan ulti doesn't do much for this one. Vanez goes back in for the battle, deals a bit of damage. He goes into the minion though. Trying to dash away. If he has the reason, he can up to
Sukuka
1-4.
still has flash.
Yeah, I don't think Vanez can get away from this one. The Q is not going to come up in time. Stun comes back through, but the E comes out. There's the kill pickup. Nice attempt to disengage, but didn't have the key reset.
Spellfang was running at that, like, let me just get a little help in there, a little assist, but no.
Well, at least it made Aurelia run the correct direction to get the kill away. So, an assist in spirit, if not in number. Cortison taking again damage. Saves. Oh, could he go in there? Lands the E. Nice knock up there from Rax, so keeps himself safe. Shyvana ulti comes down, traps as well. Big burst comes through, still does not go down. Jinx Rocket stymied there by the summoner heal. Now Say's taking damage on the way out. Doing a health trade.
Raxo, the #1 Nordic East solo queue player on the #1 Nordic East Challenger team. Showing the Lulu mechanics.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And now it looks like they're making a move here from SMW for the Dragon. They'll be 3-man strong. There's Soraka just back. She'll only be a wish at this point.
All right, well, maybe it's going to be enough for this one. Cortison is going to stop the recall in time. Saves force run away, but here we go. Spellfang looking to try to help his team stop the Dragon. It's a 2 versus 2. Looks like they're just going to back off away from this one. They know they didn't have really any backup. Going to be Dragon going over to SMW. 1 kill has gone back to No Mercy since the start of this game. But the gold lead, now 2,400, is growing for the EUS team.
And so the level 1 was really, really effective for SMW with the 2 kills and no exchange. But at this point, it's getting to that point where the Dragon is the main chunk of gold. Nobody ran away with the game that early on, and No Mercy stayed in it, and they made some of the right moves to keep themselves at that point without letting the gold lead grow out of control. They gave up a Dragon just now because of pink ward coverage, and now Vanna is going back and he still does not have flash.
I'll put some damage down on this one. There we go. Again, Panther just keeps showing up. This poor Aurelia dash to a minion. Dragon form comes in, wrong side of the fight again, but I don't know if Aurelia has really anywhere to go. Once again, drop down. Sukutka 2-1-0 now. This lane's been salvaged by Spellfang.
And both these players would know how great Shyvana is. They play her a lot, and the fact that she has a Pantheon constantly ganking for her, there's no Dragon they can take, but now they can take a turret.
That's pretty big. They're going to lose their blue buff for it, though. Good timing there by Satan. Knows about this. I mean, there's a chance this gets stolen if there's no good smite. Oh, he got it!
He's silenced!
Doesn't
matter, but he still burst it down.
That's hilarious.
Oh!
Satan had to wait on the jump cooldown, finally gets away. That's just greedy. He could have smited.
Well played there.
Well played
by Meister. Seriously, that's going to bring it back between a 1.5k gold difference from the 2k with the kill and the fact that they aren't letting buffs, which are worth a big chunk of gold, especially with the conservation, which Spellfang hasn't picked up yet. So Satan's been making some bank off that.
Wow. Well, Panther's going to have it when he backs finally, but yeah, he's a little bit poorer than you would expect in this one. See Rax will look for some poke, puts the Q down on his Says. Once again, these AD carries are kind of trading farm. Honestly, like, as eventful as lane has been, nothing's ultimately happened here, and these guys have been just trading gold back and forth, which to me gives an edge to Jinx, who's picked more for her late game and her team fighting than Lucian, who's there for the laning phase. So this is something that I gotta say is a slight advantage to SMW as well.
Yeah, SMW has that scaling here from Aurelia, Jinx, Orianna is always going to be a late game beast. We're going to have to watch the build here from Meister, whether he goes with the tank Soraka, which some people have been favoring, or
normal build.
AP. Yeah, it really is. When people are like, well, I'm going to get a Rylai's Crystal Scepter, slow everybody, constantly, just be really hard to take out. Get something. Sometimes people go Frozen Heart for the cooldown reduction.
I've seen that.
It's just like, I'll get some armor on top of my armor.
Yeah, why not?
I like armor.
Yep.
It gets a little out of hand. No, it actually gets a lot out of hand at that point.
Yeah, I mean, with a name like Armor, it's got to get out of hand.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks for that one.
Yeah. I thought it was good.
You know, I do appreciate them. I appreciate the thought behind them.
Thank you.
And
Proof that I do think sometimes.
I appreciate the thought behind this gank, too. Vanna now has Flash.
This Dragon form, Vanna is trying to set up a dash. Does get to one minion right here. He's going to try to pull the team away and dash back if he can. Oh, it just keeps running. Looks like he made his way out. The movement speed is enough.
Satan, he does have
him
off on the side. People who can use Blade Surge very effectively are always very impressive. It looks good.
It does.
Yasuo, he doesn't have to kill anything.
Ooh, armor comes in though before the Ignite Miles, taking some pretty big damage. Can Avenue chase this one down? Goes for the tower dive. Forces the summoner heal out. Gets away.
Still has the wish, too. Meister.
Yeah.
Keeping that in his back pocket. He's like, I'm out of range. It's fine.
Uh-oh, Vanas coming in for the tower dive, though. Only Wish is available. The heal's already been burned. Vanas gets the slowdown. Tree damage comes through. There's Wish, and it forces Vanas away. The teleport comes in as well. Avenue forced to flash over the wall. The chase still coming through. Now, can Sakutka get anything for this one? Raxo nearby as well. Can he whimsy someone? Flash comes in. Damage goes through. And now poor Avenue's kind of on the wrong side of the street with this one. Q comes out. Flash silence. Everything comes through. Down goes another one. 4-2 out of No Mercy.
Couple flashes blown there. Meisters as well as Courtesan, that's right.
He's not the coordinate system.
Courtesan.
Oh, gonna have the battle go though under the turret. The knockup comes in from Lulu. The dive, the heavy armor Shyvana just goes for it. Satan now under the turret goes for a bit of damage. The turret's so low, but they're not hitting it. Finally it goes down. Satan's gonna fall. Another kill comes through for the team. Little Lance lands. Teleport comes back in from Vanas. It's gonna be the disengage. No Mercy. 5 kills in a row.
And for the first time in the game, they have a 100 gold lead.
Yeah.
They're actually back in the lead, and now they're on their back foot. They have low mana pools currently. Soraka, she can sustain them. The question is who's going to back. They don't have Satan here for SMW, so they can still hold their own here for No Mercy with equal numbers.
They're a bit afraid, though. They know the health bars and mana bars are low. Raxo's got nothing. Meister is at half. And you're going to see this siege likely will work there for Shantou Makdwao. Going to go back in there, a bit of a dash in. Pantheon ulti's up in a few seconds. Sakutka in the front line. Flash, can he land the stun? Saze gets caught up with this one. Big damage comes through. Another kill. 6-2 for No Mercy.
And Avenue went straight to the bottom lane to clear it, instead of coming straight to the middle. The blue buff is up, so they'll probably hand that off to him. The 30 seconds on the dragon. So now, this is the perfect timing here for No Mercy, actually. They get to back, and they get to go straight to the dragon if they want to. Spellfang does have his ultimate available, and we're going to have to see what they do with this. They now have an advantage, and they immediately convert all of that gold they acquired into items.
That's going to be all kinds of wonderful for these guys. You're going to see Zeal and most of a Last Whisper now done for Courtesan. He's all kinds of scary this one.
And so here's the thing too, is Vanas has his Trinity Force.
Yeah.
I know you love that item.
Yeah, of course.
At this point, this is where Aurelia actually starts becoming Aurelia.
Yeah.
The first couple parts of the game where she has the Sheen, the Phage, she's not that effective, especially against somebody like Shyvana who can just bully her. And now look at that, the perfect timing on it here for No Mercy. They show up and they push Satan to half HP. He's going to have to risk his life for this if he wants to go for it. But up top, see that Shantou, he's going to try to split push this.
He's doing what he can. And the thing is, this team had timed Dragon. They knew it was there, and they knew that No Mercy was stronger. It's a really good choice. Be like, hey, split push top, get a turret for the Dragon, because you know they're going to go for 5. So that was actually pretty good adaptation right there. A nice little thought. Thinking one step ahead. Blue buff, again, available there on this side, but you're going to see him. He's not even going to try right there because he doesn't want to get the chance for it being stolen. He'll wait till he's got his team around.
Yeah. Also, at the same time, last time he warded it worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah.
He ended up getting
the Cossacks.
See if it happens again. Just try to bait him into it. Be like, nope. So SMW have had a false sense of security multiple times here.
Yeah.
Last, like Meister coming up big with that bait with the Wish. He held onto that spell, didn't use it when he was poked out by Avenue, and instead waited. Used it at a very key moment and baited 2 people under turret. Avenue went so far to the point where he had to go the long way around.
What's weird about that, though, is like Avenue should have been able to easily tell him, like, okay, yeah, he burned the regular heal and he burned like only one other heal. Like, you know, Straka's got 3, right? And the fact that like they dove knowing another one of those heals was still available to me was like kind of weird.
But at the same time, you're sitting there like, I don't know if he has it. I don't know if I've been keeping track of it. And here comes Spellfang, and here's another global for him.
Right on top of Avenue, gets locked up right there in front of the wall. Big burst comes through, nice shockwave lands on 2, but it's not enough. 1 kill again picked up for No Mercy.
So here's the thing, is Avenue, 244 farm, 22 minutes into the game. He's still doing amazing in the farming department. Doing better than even the round of 20 game.
Yeah.
But he's giving up kills at this point. He's being too aggressive. Shantou, he gets a turret bottom, but they lose a turret mid. A tier 2 turret at that.
Yeah, again, a better trade for No Mercy. I think Shantou is doing the best he can with the situation, but is just slipping away from these guys. 3, 1, and 4 on the Shyvana, had a losing lane, got salvaged by Spellfang, and then the team grouped up for teamfights, and it's worked every single time.
And this is the Nordic East pride coming out here for No Mercy. They have to show off, and they're going after Satane.
He got caught out with their Meister on the dash forward. Gets a bit of a slowdown on Akazu, but will not catch him entirely. There's a Q that lands onto Saze, though. Big burst comes through. Raxo a bit hurt. It's not going to be enough to stop this team from going in. Again, Satane low on health. Almost the damage comes through for Lucian. Not quite enough, though. But again, forcing the team back. Dash forward, if he lands a Q, it's going to be the kill.
Didn't use heal for the extra movement speed. He's like, no, I'm not going to be that greedy. Which is a good
not
call
really worth
there.
it.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth it at that point, because you could mess that up on many levels.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, you've healed for the movement speed.
I've healed for the kill and
oh.
then just like died by being stupid. So don't do what I did. Don't burn healed and die. That's really stupid. Cortosan, though, going to hold the bottom lane for this one. You're going to see, despite the fact that Jinx has been split pushing so much, this Lucian's actually keeping up in minions quite well, which is pretty impressive when someone's given us a isolated lane for so long and to keep your minions there. So
yeah, Jinx was given a lot of the CS by the Targon's race, though.
Sure.
In the laning phase.
But in general, I mean, it's the same numbers.
Yeah. And that was a thing that we added a while ago.
Yeah.
So
glad we did that.
You don't have to add it by hand.
And you assume like which ones were actually traded versus not.
Yeah.
Like cover the tooltip, do the gold math.
Yeah.
Like how many were 5, how many were 10?
No, he actually has 220, counting whatever he got from Targon.
Yep.
So lovely.
Well,
there's two there.
Top lane, though. Sakutka's going to get a counter kick here by Pantheon. Will it be enough? Dives in, puts some damage down. Vanna's forced to run away. Spellfang goes for the stun, but Satane's a tanky man. You don't necessarily want to go for that one. Damage now comes through onto Pantheon. It's kind of split back and forth. The Wish comes through, though, and keeps the team nice and safe. Now Vanna's forced to run backwards. No Mercy, repeatedly winning fights.
Whoa. Nope.
Nice shot.
Yeah, it hit them both. Gives them some more potential here to re-engage if they wanted to. But here comes Leona off on the side, but there is Soraka on the flank. They're outnumbered here. It's 4v3. 4v2 in the top lane, having Aurelia back. Vanna's does have TP, though.
And it's just going to be the numbers advantage right now. You still have to wait for Aurelia, Jinx, and Ori to show up. So outer turret goes down. No Mercy. Now 4 turrets to 3. It is impressive that Shantou has managed to pick up 3 turrets for themselves. Despite the fact that they had 0 when they first started losing all the team fights, and managed to take all 3 outers in pretty short order despite losing battles.
Is Vanna's going for a Wit's End?
Yeah, that's the build path, I'm pretty sure.
He wants the magic resistance?
Isn't it one dagger and 1 recurve bow? That could be
that could be Blade of the Ruin King.
Yeah, Ruin King plus a null magic mantle.
Just because he wants it.
Yeah. Like, that's my guess.
I was like, yeah, Blade of the Ruin King is usually what you want to go for. But I mean, if he's really fearing the magic resistance here, that's going to be shredded away by Soraka and then just had more damage dealt to him, because Shyvana does a lot of magic damage that people don't expect.
Soraka and Lulu going to do consistent damage over the course of time, and especially if, as Aurelia, you're trying to split push, which to me is what SMW needs right now. You've got to itemize against your split push opponents.
Yeah. And we're going to have to see, but I like the pickup of the no magic damage. He's thinking about maybe putting him into Merc Treads, but he already got the passive. He's already got enough tenacity for himself. Yeah,
there's nothing to really tenacity here. Nothing that's great. Like, the silence is whatever. Pantheon stun is only like the one real hard CC you have to care about that much, so I don't think there's enough to warrant Merc Treads.
So SMW here, clearing out the Baron Pit. It's up in 30 seconds.
Satane forced away, though. Damage comes through.
You don't want to be half HP when the dragon comes up. He's going to go ahead and get himself a camp, and they ping it. They're like, he's going to try to regen off the camp. We know where he is. So here's the thing is, Avenue is the saving grace of this alongside Shantou for SMW. Because he has 286 farm at the 26-minute mark, he's doing really well for himself in the gold department. He's one of the reasons they're sticking in this game, despite being down in kills and objectives.
Well, we're going to see the Dragon getting started right now, though. Both teams are ready, 5-on-5. Spellfang, Sakutka staying up as the front line.
This is going to be where the game gets burst wide open, and there we go.
Go for the engage. Stun goes in the backline. Raxo not able to engage. Satan in the backline as well. Raxo, big damage goes onto him. The heals come through. Pantheon falls down first. Vana is forced over the wall. He gets away from this one, and the re-engage now. Satan looking for more. The wish comes through, but Kha'Zix will fall. 1 for 1. No mercy. The heals keep coming through, keeping them safe. Saze drops as well. 2 for 1 in the battle. Sakuka's still chasing down. Can he reach Shantou? He's going to try for it. Flash Q gets it. Avenue now in the wrong spot as well. Not going to flash wall or anything. Just going to take damage down. 4 kills to 1 for No Mercy.
I thought you were going to make it down the wrong avenue joke there.
I already made one earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I said on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, okay. See, those are the
Good
ones
enough.
that are beautiful because they don't always click in your head, and you're just like, oh, was that one? Was that not one? They just close this week. But yeah, they're going to get themselves a dragon here, and 4 kills off of it. Just exchanging Spellfang for it, who jumped into the back line and was destroyed by Shantou and Avenue, but at the same time, they used so much on him here. Look at that, the Shockwave, the pivotal thing they needed in this fight that fed Orianna. Blowing that Shockwave is something you need in this big clump here to do that damage, to get them lower, to peel them off. And now we just see the tank line is going crazy. The fact that they have all this extra armor and HP from Meister supporting them is more than enough. And Sakutka, the top laner who went 3-0-6 on Shyvana in their round of 20 game, is now showing up big this game, 5-1-6 with a better KDA than he had, even then, which was still impressive.
Yeah, absolutely great play with these guys, and it's actually worth pointing out with the Orianna thing, the Shockwave got flashed anyway.
Yes.
The Shockwave actually didn't do anything in the 1v1, or the 2v1, I suppose. Also, we got it wrong, it's Zephyr.
It is Zephyr. Wow, okay.
Thing is, it builds from a pickaxe, not a longsword, if I remember correctly. So it's not like, he's just like building parts of things. It's really weird, but Satan stays taking some damage right on this one. Raxo force back, gets the heal. Re-engage, gonna come through, nice stun again, lands on a Lulu, gets the giant knockup, 2-man Shockwave. Shantou not a good spot. Pantheon really putting the pain down, tanks the rocket. 2-for-1 battle so far. Avenue forced to run away as well. The front line chasing him down. It's gonna be a pretty easy battle for No Mercy. 3-1 in this fight. Every single battle going this way.
And Shantou was in the wrong position there. Coming around, it was a good flank, except it was Pantheon already channeling that Spellfang immediately on top of him. Now they blew this game wide open from giving up those 2 kills at the start of the game. SMW's only gotten 2 since then, and now there's a 6k gold lead for No Mercy, and they're going to get an inhibitor turret and an inhibitor off of this.
Wow, so there goes the inhib. Great stuff with these guys. No Mercy gonna make their way back out. 15 seconds on the Orianna respawn, so it's gonna be pretty much a 4v5. These teams are going to recall back their health back up in this one. But yeah, 6,000 gold lead. Hex Drinker, by the way, the item now. Vanish is adding a bunch of random things together to try to keep himself alive.
Well, when you're 0-3 and 2 is Aurelia, who requires a lot of gold and a decent laning phase to be effective, now he's in the team fight part of the game, that mid-game, that late game. And he hasn't ramped up. He's been shut down by 6-1-6. Look at all those Randuin's Omens to even counter Vanez with the attack speed.
Would you say he's irrelevant?
I would absolutely say he's irrelevant.
Good.
If I were you.
If you were me.
So
but
he's just being Aurelia and he's irrelevant.
Okay. Well, Spellfang gonna keep the mid lane push going in with the inhibitor down. It should create a bunch of map pressure for these guys. The Lucian, actually, Courtesan doesn't really keep pushing the bottom lane there. He ulted one wave, he grabs the red buff, he can make his way back up to the top of the map. So he could be getting a farm safely, but he'd prefer to join the team fairly soon. He's still grabbing Wraiths, so he'll take some time with this one. But at some point, he'll join the team.
Yeah, Giant's Belt there for Vanez. He wants to be a little more durable. He's just getting himself into these fights with cost-effective items and not going for something like a Blade of the Ruined King because it's so far removed from what he started to build in the first place.
Yeah.
You kind of have to commit to what you picked up to deal with them. You know, just the tiny threats in lane. That added up to just an immense amount of you being shut down.
Yeah, it's going to take quite a bit for these guys to catch back up now. No Mercy played the beginning of the game with a 2,000 gold deficit and caught back up, but now Shantou down 5,000 gold as a team. They've been losing battle after battle right here. I think it's kind of funny because the red team lineup was full of hard engage and diving and like, oh yeah, we're just going to support you with the Orianna and whatnot. But it's actually No Mercy that have been able to dive in the battles and use the Orianna and Lulu, or sorry, the Soraka and Lulu, to keep those tanks alive and diving.
Yeah, and it's the scaling team too. We talked about how well Jinx, Orianna, Aurelia do in the late game, but the fact that No Mercy kept in it and now they blew themselves up with this team fight composition, that's really what did it for them. The Shyvana with the the Soraka, who's super tanky and also just throws down so much damage at the same time. And Courtesan, he did really, really well for himself in the top lane. We saw he was winning first, then he started losing it, but then, oh my lord, he just came out big. And now, we're gonna get another turret. They go ahead and the Supermaidens are doing work in the mid lane. They're just picking them apart at this point, getting even more in terms of advantage. In SMW, they have to farm up if they want to do anything in this game. A team fight is most likely not going to go their way unless they get a 5-man Shockwave.
Yeah, great Shockwave, maybe a turret, maybe a Baron hitting the enemy team, something to tip that fight in their favor. Certainly they have not found that just yet in this game.
Or the Winions in the bottom lane.
Yeah, big wave actually did push the bottom. I mean, Cortosan didn't finish pushing the wave out, so it stacked up. The gold didn't go anywhere. No Mercy actually going to sit there to bait Baron, not start it.
It's the right play, because if you start the Baron, you risk it being stolen, which risks the comeback, whereas why not just go for the cutthroat here? And there it goes. Woo.
Jinx ulti flies by, doesn't see that they've actually been doing Baron. Vana's though going to get slowed up a little bit. Satane also on the wrong side of the map, forced to leap away. Star Call has now been outranged. Did force the team away and pop a Jinx ulti out of this one. Looks like No Mercy going to be back to trying to control the map now. But mid inhibitor will be respawning before too long.
And Satane is off on the side. Dragon's up in 30 seconds here. And there's the jump. This is a hard engage.
All right, Panther going for the engage. Not quite going to find it. Flash stuns on a Shantou, though. Takes the Solar Flare, takes a two-man Shockwave as well. Big damage. Wish forced right now. Many ults now down on both sides. What's going to happen with this battle? Sakutka still in the backline, pulling a bunch of attention. Vanna is off on the side, though. Puts some damage through. Looks like it's going to be disengaged on both sides. Satane, he'll get away.
Now the Dragon is coming up in 5 seconds here. And No Mercy is directly in position for it.
Yep, they're the team with the extra gold lead. Get this one right on the spawn. 33.5 minutes in, they're already there for it. Panther not even range this fight. He knows he's not really going to risk this one. Recalls back. These guys know they've got control. SMW, though, they're pinging out. Interesting. Oh, wow, they had so little ward control. They thought Baron might have been the play. They didn't even think about Dragon. They're like, wait, we didn't see them. Is it Baron?
Yeah.
Not even.
They had to check it at that point, because it was possible that it could have been a Baron play. And you always want to be on top of that, especially when you're behind. You don't want to have to face check anything in that area. So they established ward control for themselves to prevent just that. But the item differential here between the two teams is just immense. That top lane that was being camped so hard by Spellfang in the early game to shut down the Aurelia and keep him shut down worked effectively. He's 0, 3, and 2 on Vanna's Aurelia, one of his favorite champions, and his item build has just been knocked off the path of effectiveness at this point. The Blade of the Ruined King completed for Sakutka, so his damage is really high up there. He has both resistances stacked alongside a lot of HP. So he's ready to go. He's ready to start carrying this game. And really, at this point, the two people who could save this game are pretty much Avenue and Shantou for SMW if they wanted to, or if they were able to come back. But there's so much armor stacked and so much attack speed slow that Shantou, if he attacks anybody, being an immobile AD carry, he's going to get slowed on top of the Randuins. It's very hard and difficult for a Jinx to operate in this type of situation.
Absolutely agree. And to think about it, Spellfang's adding a Locket of Iron Solari to his team. You've already got Wish, you've already got Lulu giving someone shield and a big boost of health. Everything else, the engages are going to come through. Shantou in exactly the wrong spot. Great Shockwave, but he gets blown up anyway. 1 for 0, No Mercy, still trying to live up to their name and push this game through. 35 minutes in, mid inhibitor, attempt number 2 coming through. That's going to be falling as well. The 5v4, these guys are controlling the game.
The challengers from the Nordic East showing that they are up to the task. They're going after Avenue and the throat.
Now Avenue forced back with this one. Spellfang low, they're going to take turret shots. He will go down 1 for 1 now overall. Looks like this push might not work anymore. Sakutka now stunned in turret range as well. Maybe these guys bit off more than they can chew. Big damage comes through. The heals coming in. Ignite, not going to get the pickup anyway. Now Raxo very low. Another kill. Vanez picks up 2. Now Cortosan in the wrong spot. Gets exploded on this one. Triple kill for Vanez. It's now a 4v1 on the map.
And that is a Baron ping here. They're going straight for it by SMW. The overextension, and they went for the throat, but they ended up cutting their own hands.
Yeah, that throat was pretty sharp in this one. Now, it's going to be a 4,000 gold difference, but it's going to shut to about 2,000 when Baron goes down. He's taking the damage. Only Soraka is there to defend. More than 8 seconds to go until anyone else respawns in this one. Big damage, honestly, coming down to the Baron.
But look at this, the MVP of this is really the turrets. How much damage they continue to do. We see Sakutka, he takes aggro here, it drops off, it goes to Lulu for a bit, then it jumps back to him. Sakutka's so tanky that you really did need the turrets to take him down. The 6th member, the 7th member, that was really an 8-man team there.
Yeah,
for SMW.
And we said they needed help in order to win the team fights. The turrets were, in fact, part of that. And there we go. It's going to turn the game into a much more decent spot right there. You can see 55 to 58,000. Just a Zephyr done as well.
Just doubled their kills the entire game. Went from 4 to 8. They're 3k gold behind, or about 2.3k gold behind. And now they have temporary combat stats.
Yeah, it actually puts them as the stronger team on the map right now.
Yep.
Baron's worth about 6k-ish.
And here's the thing is, what they'll do with this is they will farm up the lanes, cause that threat. They have the super minions, so that wave will continue to push into their mid lane, and they're going to farm up. They're going to get all this gold and turn those temporary combat stats into permanent ones.
Yeah, they're really going to win this one, but No Mercy looks like they still want to exert pressure there. They've got that dead middle inhibitor. They know they can pull attention there, try to get some turrets back. This is risky, though. If they get into the wrong kind of fight, the gold lead's gone.
And you can see Shantou, he went for the distortion on his boots. He needs the flash cooldown because we just see Spellfang on him all the time with the Grand Skyfall. And in that vein, when we're talking about boot enchants, you can see we have Alacrity on Vanez because he wants to be in that fight. He wants to move around as much as he possibly can. He has the Zephyr movement speed. He has the Trinity Force movement speed. He has the Alacrity movement speed. He just wants to move.
He really
got shoes on.
Yep.
Ready to dance.
He's a quick freaking moving guy.
And that's
484 move speed without the killing a minion proc. So it's a rather quick bro. So here we go. Looks like defense now is the name of the game for No Mercy. 6-3 again, the turret score, but this could be a very different number soon. 2,000 gold difference. Mid lane definitely the focus. More wards getting swept out. These minion waves die so quickly.
But for the first time in a long time, SMW are now applying pressure to the turrets of No Mercy. The Baron's worth a lot. It's about 4,000 gold in terms of temporary combat stats. They're only 2k behind. So they do have an advantage here, and they have sieging potential with the HP regen. Look at how quickly that goes down, and the siege that Jinx brings.
Yeah, Cortosan forced to burn his ulti to try to clear the minion wave away, but it's not going to be enough. Interestingly enough, did not go Triforce Lucian, by the way, to go for the Phantom Dancer type build.
Vanez.
Didn't get the reset, but it didn't matter. He got away enough.
Little short on that. Dragon is up in 40 seconds. Both teams are actually in a great position to contest here. And I actually would love to see how long the Baron buff has remaining on it. Because if they're able to get to that Dragon with the Baron on it, which it does look like they would be able to in the 30 seconds.
Minute 10 seconds roughly on the Baron buff is going to be enough for Dragon itself. Now the thing is, that last Dragon went down when SMW was like checking Baron. They don't have the exact timer here. If they can realize it instinctively with saying they were off the map and it wasn't Baron, they could guess the timer, but it looks like they do not know about the Dragon whatsoever, and it's going to go to No Mercy. They got enough wards, they're not going to get stabbed for it.
Yeah, they're just going to go to farm in that top lane. They'll put it about a 3k gold difference here between these two teams once the Dragon falls into the hands of SM, or No Mercy. And No Mercy, you know, the fact that they came back from that early level deficit was really impressive. 2 kills falling into people's hands. They didn't blow summoner spells, though, at the start. They were pretty much like, okay, you know, you got us. Yep. That's it. So they didn't give up huge advantages. They gave up some kills and experience, about 1,000 gold. But when you blow summoner spells on top of it, it's even worse. But they still recovered from all of that. It's amazing. And now, in the lead, they just have to wait out this Baron buff and go back for the inhibitor. And they're still the stronger team.
Well, let's see what they can find. Baron buff. Pretty much gone at this point. 15 seconds. Going to be going away. Now it's back to strategic play. It's like, okay, guys, you guys threw an advantage away. Of course, No Mercy did come back from a 2,000 gold deficit, but we talked about the fact that Shantou Makwao, they've got this crazy late game. They've got the Jinx, who's catching up in items. Infinity Edge is not going to be that far away anymore. Has some armor to maybe live through the Pantheon and everything. We'll see. But you're getting a more and more powerful Orianna and a Rally that got a giant power spike now with Randuin's done. This will be a very different team now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of AoE damage from these mid laners. You see the Orianna is getting there. He has the Death Cap, he has the Void Staff, he's going to shred through the resistances, he's going to be fine. There's the engage. They're going for Shantou again, but the TP at the same spot makes him avoid it. Well, it's going to be many ultis burned there. Spellfang does stay alive there. Sakutka going to the backline by himself, looking for Shantou, forced back on this one. Great shockwave that hits 3. Is that going to be enough? Now, No Mercy, still the one aggressive. Van is forced away using Michaelis to keep himself alive, but the chase in, No Mercy trying to go for this one. Looking for more, Sazed a bit low. Low health bars everywhere. Nobody dies yet, but everyone injured. But now the inhibitor is open for No Mercy to go after. The Baron buff was what SMW needed to stay in the game, and now that deficit is making itself known again. And look at that, they're trying to go for it. Inhib falls, but Home Guards healed up most of the SMW team. Spellfang is going to go down for that one because they went so hard for that. Slow's going to get dodged away successfully. Nice Q as well, but there's a TP. Aurelia will get at least something on this one. Looks in, there's the flash, gets a slow down onto Raxo. It's going to be him locked up as well. That is a kill picked up. Sazed tanks away pretty much all of the culling. W could land as Sakutka. He's going to get a bit of a slow there. And
and now a 5v3 for 35 seconds.
With the 40-second death timers, that's enough time for them to start sieging up this turret. The long-range wave clear that they have compared to what No Mercy has currently available to them, it's not that great, and they can't really engage without the Pantheon.
Here we go. Inhibitor mid lane under fire. There's the first inhib turret of the game. For Chantal Machtwau, they're going to get the first turret. The inhib goes down as well. 3v5 though. No Mercy still trying to stick around, do something for this one. They've got Pantheon at 5 seconds with his ultimate. It's going to be the chase actually. The slows, they can get enough. They can knock this team away. Vana's going to use the Randuin to slow down Sakutka. Team running away with the command dissonance as well. Looks like that will be a successful disengage.
The fact that there's 30 seconds on Baron right now, they have to back now to set up for it. There's a bottom wave that needs clearing by No Mercy in order to contest it. So he's going to clear that as fast as he possibly can because he knows where he needs to be. He needs to be present in that Baron fight. He's going to clear this out and start running over there, possibly pick up the red buff on his way if he has the time.
Do they just not know the exact timer? Because going for golems right there I think is not the right choice. You've got to get yourself the red buff and get to your team in case the other guys rush it down. Looks like though they're going to be safe. He's going to get the red buff. Ward sweeping, actually No Mercy right now owns the area just enough.
And Avenue
but they've got to be careful.
Avenue's going for blue too. The buffs before this Baron are extremely important on these champions. We see Meister, he hasn't died all game. He's 3-0-9. He has the Rylai's Leandri's combo. And the fact he's tanky, he's very, very hard to take down. Nobody's done it yet this game.
Yeah, I feel like long duration fights could go pretty well for the No Mercy squad if they can get multiple heals out. It'd be good for these guys. Recall came through for Lucian. Didn't pick up anything for it, though. Still just sitting on pickaxe.
It's a scrying orb. Thanks, Vanez.
All right, nice. He's got one for
Never gonna
himself.
face check again.
Never going to have to, as long as it's off cooldown.
So the problem with their last engage was that the TP came in at the same location and a little earlier than the Grand Skyfall. So basically, Chantal was like, oh, I need to move away from this ward that's being TP'd on, and that's exactly where Spellfang was. The engagement that Spellfang has had in the past, right on top of Chantal, have been perfect. You lock up that Jinx, she's extremely squishy. He has the GA completed now, so what they're going to have to do is to try to get to him, destroy him, and then camp his body. And they can do that with how tanky Sakutka is and Meister.
Well, we'll see if they can get enough with this one. Here we go. Minions getting swept away rather quickly. Looks like the mid lane siege back and forth. Of course, both teams missing inhibitors. I mean, super minions everywhere. And it's a 1,000 gold difference right here.
And nobody went straight for the Baron. It's a 1 minute on the Dragon remaining. Super minions are going to do battle with each other in the mid lane. And that's where everybody else is, too. No TPs.
Yeah, here comes the real test, though. I think very few teams are in 45-minute games that are super equal. Normally it's a team with a lead trying to close it out, and they're going like, oh, we're going to control Baron, we're going to do all this stuff. But now it's like, well, no one owns the map. It's how do you create opportunities from nothing when you've got little vision control. Split pushing could get you caught really easily. It's like a bunch of 5-man squads looking for ways to create pressure.
And I gotta apologize to Vanez. He's been playing Aurelia forever.
Yep.
You know, but his build,
it worked out.
It's working out now. Yeah. Blade of the Ruined King is the standard that we see a lot of people go nowadays. But I mean, if you make it work, then you make it work.
I see occasional Zephyrs. I wouldn't call it standard, but it's not the first Zephyr Aurelia I've seen.
Yeah. People usually will get rid of Zephyrs for their boots, or get rid of boots for Zephyr, and sit on like a Blade of the Ruined King instead. But he just wants all the movement speed. That's his counter engage. That's how he follows Shyvana into that line. Yeah. It's like Shyvana's on us, I'm on her. Like even with burnout, I'm just as fast.
Oh, absolutely. As soon as you take damage, you can stun him too.
And look at that, Dragon up, Baron up. But the inhibitor is now in favor of SMW. Chantal Machtwau.
All right, they've got it's about a 1 minute window. I think there's no super minions left.
Yeah.
So it's going to be back to
It's got about
equal.
1 more. I think there's 1 more coming down.
Okay.
Strutting his stuff.
No, there's none left. There's none on the map when the inhib respawns, and the inhib's respawning like right now. So that was the last super minion wave. So back to regular footing here in this one. No Mercy on top of a ward right here. Sweeper is up for rack, so he doesn't realize it. Lucian right now, you can see Cortisone is actually being donated a lot of farm. They want him to hit that Infinity Edge power spike. He's not reached it yet, so he's the guy getting the farm. He's going to Wraiths, he's going to Wolves, he's getting...
Spellfang's out of position, they know it. They're going straight for him. He's going to try Skyfall to get out.
He gets out! Whee. Nice.
He's gone.
All right. Well,
Just
he's got a minute and a half, though.
Now he doesn't have that engage tool. Are they going to start the Baron up? It looks like no, they're just going to camp it.
All right, No
Oh,
Mercy trying to
they
bait
poked
this.
it.
Ooh, they took aggro. Had to get away from that
Angry.
one. 6 bit of damage. Colling's not going to hit very much. Maybe hits about 10 bullets there. Vanez, though, goes for the engage. Does not land Solar Flare, though. And here comes Sakuka into the front lines. Good traps going to hold people back, though. Jump into the back line. Look at the damage coming through from Pantheon. One-man Shockwave pulls back Sakuka. Big knock up there onto Meister. He wants to kill things if he can. Down to the back line goes the Leona. 1 kill picked up. Shantou also forced to revive. Big fight for No Mercy. Vanez flashes the wall. There's a double kill there. Sakuka big on Shyvana. 5v3.
They keep speeding up Meister with Raxo, so it's this incredibly fast Soraka, slowing everybody down, shredding them, doing so much damage, and being unkillable. It is ridiculous to watch right now, and it is incredibly ridiculous and hard to deal with. But they don't even go for Baron, they go for the middle inhibitor. There's 50 seconds on Shantou. They could end the game here unless a perfect engage happens.
They could try. They're fighting as an Orianna, which is always going to be difficult. It looks like Satan goes in for a bit of a trade right there. Has the ulti pop. Summoner heal burned right there from No Mercy. But they're going to go in big damage on an Avenue. Culling not going to hit him, though. Re-engage into Satan. Some good stun damage comes through, which is the minion clearing. There's a new wave, but it's not going to be much. No Mercy still has about 10 seconds pre-Leona. Will it be Baron?
It's a good push back there using Satan. But the Solar Flare in the last fight whiffing and the Shockwave hitting one person was the exact opposite of what they needed. They needed those boosts to hit multiple people. Baron, the DPS on it is already at half. As soon as they get a ward over the wall, it may be just in time.
Ooh, will he try? He's
going
to.
He gets
the smite, but he's got to flash the wall. The ulti comes in, low health bars. No Mercy just lost the Baron. Good disengage there from Lulu. This team will get away, but wow. Inhib, but Baron goes to Shantou Maktwao.
Got a 4-man Shockwave off of that. Looked really impressive. They weren't going to go completely for it. The soft disengage there from Raxo was more than enough with the Lulu. And now they're going to pick up the Baron for themselves. The Dragon's going to fall into their hands.
Oh
SMW, they're back in the game again with No Mercy was knocking at their door.
That's incredible. I can't believe the game has gone like this. 49 minutes and 24 seconds in. The game started with Shantou Maktwao getting a 2-for-0 at level 1 during an invade. They got ahead in the laning phase, 2,500 gold. Then No Mercy found team fight after team fight after team fight, going 16-4 or something like that at some point. And then 2 Barons later.
It's almost dead even right now in gold. Temporary combat stats in favor of SMW. Gives him that edge, but the hero right there, Satan, coming up big for the EUS team. Yeah. Okay, Jinx.
Off she goes. Well, not quite eye-edge still for Jinx. She's got some time to go to the full build. However, Lucian has reached this. Even despite Baron buff, if I were the Lucian, I'd be like, guys, I do like 50% more damage than Jinx right now. We should go for a fight anyway. And if they can peel properly, Lucian can carry these battles.
Also, Meister, he still hasn't died. He's always just running in there, throwing down his Star Call, and now they're going to camp a bush. And this is actually a route that you would check pretty frequently at this point in the game.
See, scrying orbs down. Fanos can't necessarily tell.
They go for it. They don't know that the rest of the team's behind it. There, now they do. Oh, Jig's up. Better run.
To go. Mid lane got pushed out.
Better run straight over a ward.
And they walk over a ward. Satan's going to make his way over. Nothing too big picked up, though, but it does mean the inside track there in the mid lane. SMW could rush down this inhibitor pretty safely.
By the time they get to the inhibitor, Spellfang's going to be back in the base and ready to use his Grand Skyfall. And there he goes. He goes straight for it.
All right, a couple of Vantage Veils pop by the Culling, and there comes the battle. Quick early Zonya's used, and a one-man shock with the knock up there from Lulu. The battle is afoot. Shantou forced back by Sakutka. Spellfang goes down 1-for-0. The kill back onto Jinx, though. The AD carry now, Cortosan is there available in the back line. He's going to push everyone away with this one. Satan forced out. Avenue as well. Big damage comes through, and that's another kill picked up. 2-for-1 to No Mercy.
The lack of peel that they have for Jinx to get Sakutka off of Shantou is just destroying them in these fights. Vanez, he's going for another hero move here. He has to get this.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Summoner Teleport. This is going to easily drop. I'm actually surprised that No Mercy's pulling back, because he can't get anything else.
TP to the top turret, and he's out of there. He's going back, too. He's going to cash in.
Yeah, No Mercy could have stayed mid. The mid inhib's respawning right now, and they could have stayed in the 4v3 and taken mid inhib.
So he just sold his Hex Drinker. He's buying a GA.
Yeah. Most likely. No, Thornmail.
Wow. You know what? I'm done. I'm done with.
Yep.
You know, I'm done with everything.
Yeah. Once we already had Banshees, I was like, okay, well, you know, there's a chance he just wants more armor.
Yeah.
There's no heavy mage damage. Like, there is magic damage. You've got Sunfire, Thornmail, Shyvana being Shyvana. You've got... Soraka does some, but once you get, like, a modicum of MR, it's just more about Lucian at that point. AD carries still are the biggest late-game damage source.
Yeah.
And so Thornmail, like, I think exists on almost every tank build.
She's going to go ahead and try to counter the Lucian out.
Yeah.
Xon has been having a really good game, 6-1 and 5. But Sakutka at the same time, 9-2 and 8. He's becoming a big for his team. He's only not been involved in 2 kills as the top laner.
Yeah.
Whereas Soraka, who has complete global presence with the Wish, has only not been involved in 3.
Yep.
Sakutka, a lot of the fights have been on him in the early game.
Yeah. He's securing the kills.
Exactly. And in the late game, he's like, all right, I'm going to go straight in there, use my burnout, get onto Shantou. He's got the dive buddy of Spellfang always backing him up. Spellfang's been the one who's dying every time, though. He's like, I'm going to get the engage, I'm going to risk my life and sacrifice myself for it, but they come up big in the fight. I remember when they were going 4 for 1, it was Spellfang who was ending up dying. And look at this, here he goes once again.
One more engage, they're going to look for it. Big knock up there onto 3 from Lulu. The battle is afoot. Giant shockwave though, Satan off on the side, but Courtesan forced him away rather easily. Spellfang takes big damage. He's going to be falling down. He does, in fact, and now Van is back in the mix. Forced away, though. Big damage comes through from Meister. Looks like that's going to be a 1-for-1 so far, but low health bar. Sakutka takes a bunch of pain. Forced to walk away. Such little health on Shantou Maktwao, but not enough. Raxo can't chase him out.
It's so hard to deal with the Shyvana, but look at that. The super minions are knocking on those Nexus turrets. But there's the kill.
They actually re-engaged. A little weird right there. Courtesan picks up the kill on that one. So 2 for 1 overall, but a lot of pressure on the base.
I wonder if Zhonya's was still up at the time by about a second or 2.
Either way, at that point, if you're caught by an AD carry, you're not going to get away from the Zhonya's.
Yeah. Just for fun, though. You got to do it. Yeah, Satan immediately out of that fight. But the shockwave came up bigger. That's exactly what they needed, and that's what allows them to come up even in this. Because Courtesan, his attention is off on Satan for so long, and they don't even pick him up. He goes into the base. They left Lulu to deal with him, so she's not even involved in this fight. And the kite backwards. We're going to see what ends up happening here. They go really far forward. Courtesan is off in the side push. He goes to check it with the ball.
They got silence as well.
Immediately can't do anything about it.
Yeah, Meister's silence. There was actually no chance to Zhonya's anyway. But yeah, all they were trying to do was stop recalls. They thought people were going back to defend the minion waves that Kha'Zix had pushed.
See Shantou still with that GA on himself.
Yeah. We're still in the past in this one too.
Yeah. It's a great.
All right, we're good with this one. So, Meister, keeping himself in a good spot with this one. Going to kill off. Yeah, recall off the ward. He's going to be okay.
Now we can see there. Okay.
We're going to back and focus up in this one. So, the mid lane push did get stopped. Mid and him going to be respawning soon. Baron's up in a minute. Dragon's up in 40 seconds. It's risky to even go for Dragon right now because Baron's up in a short enough amount of time. You'd be out positioned for Baron.
Yes.
And the gold's almost not worth it anyway. You can do it. I'm just saying it's risky.
Yeah, it's very risky. The Dragon's up. They're staggered about 20 seconds. So like you said, go for Dragon. Might be a little late to Baron. And look at that. The Alacrity boots were sold by Vanez. Just buys Distortion now for the teleport cooldown because he wants to try and split push and draw Sakutka's attention. See if he can. Once again, Meister has not died. 1 death for Courtesan. The people who keep dying on No Mercy are the same people. It's just constant deaths from Spellfang and really Raxo. Those are the only 2 who end up going down. And despite the kill difference, SMW, Shantou Maktwao are still up there in gold, which is extremely impressive. Their objective game, they're still behind in turrets. They have these side lane turrets to take. But just the pressure that they apply and the fact that they go even in some fights and then like maybe -1 kill in the others, they're still getting Baron steals. They're getting some dragons for themselves. This next couple of minutes, these objectives, that's going to be a deciding game.
Well, here we go.
Can the NE Pride bring it out? Can the Nordic East do it?
It's an interesting little pop-up right there. We're still okay in this game, of course.
Yeah.
No Mercy going to look for what they can on this one. Aurelia is around in the mix. looking to tank up the front line. We are, of course, live. Don't worry, guys. It's okay. We are in the game. But the Siege is the attempt right now for No Mercy. Moving forward, open inhibitor is there. Any fight could pretty much conclude the game. Engage from Pantheon. Bug splat. All right. So,
what happened?
We'll have it in a second.
He jumped down.
Dude, that is how cataclysmic Pantheon's ultimate is right there. He actually destroys the games by himself. So, guys, we'll get you the results. We'll get you the game in a little bit. Don't worry about that. We'll get ourselves back in this one. So the game, 55 minutes in. And by the way, just so you know, the game did play out in real time. It's like the game still happened. Don't worry about that one. Just so you know, it's a spectator issue, not the game itself. That's still fine. So let's talk about what we have so far in this game. Ludicrously close.
Yeah.
Rank 1 Nordic East was rank 2 EU West. So top competitors. Like both rosters, like 4 guys in Challenger.
Yeah.
Like ludicrously good players in the first place. Jinx, I just feel bad for. I know we talked about it in Champ Select, right? It's like, oh, your whole team's going to go in. They're going to create the front line. You'll be fine. It's like, yeah, but it's Pantheon Shyvana.
Yeah, they can dive
Life was sad.
straight into the back line. And here's the thing, too, is we set up Avenue in the pregame being a really good Orianna player. We saw his farm throughout the game has been immense.
Yeah.
Then he started getting shut down. And Meister hasn't died at all. He's died. He went 2, 3, and 8 in the round of 20. He hasn't died a single time in a counter matchup. Because Orianna is, regarded as one of those people or one of those champions that does really well against Soraka.
Yeah.
Not the story here.
Bullied him around for sure, but didn't kill him. Actually, Soraka did fine in CS anyway.
Yeah. He ended up bullying Soraka out of lane. We saw it a couple times. The bait under the turret is what set that one around. Because Meister was able to hold on to his wish for so long and then bait the bottom lane and the mid laner into him was huge for the team.
Yeah.
Then they ended up getting all 4 of them collapsed, the 2 kills, and the turret off of it.
Yeah, and I want to actually kind of focus back on some of the other early laning phase matchups as well. The one that I liked was Shyvana versus Aurelia. We talked about Spellfang camping for Sakutka to get that matchup good. And it was interesting because Pantheon was actually ganking, right?
Yeah.
Grand Skyfall on cooldown all the time and trying to get Aurelia. Didn't get all of them. Okay, fine, but got some of them, right? And got lane pressure.
You get flashes most of the time, too.
Which is great. That's still good.
Flash advantage is huge in lane.
Absolutely it is. It lets you get those kills right there. But the interesting thing to me was that the Kha'Zix on the other side of the game, right, was looking to counter jungle, but I never saw him actually force ganks.
Yes.
You've got a Leona Jinx lane. You've got an Orianna with Shock. We've got an Aurelia to stun, and never actually looked for a real gank to set this up, was tunneled on counter jungling Pantheon, and got a gold lead for it. But that doesn't snowball a game for you. It just accrues a gold lead slowly and steadily, and it was like 2,500 gold. But nothing turned on for these guys.
Yeah.
They're just like laning phase, laning phase, laning phase, laning phase. Oh shoot, they did stuff.
Yeah, they had those 2 early kills. I think they got a little complacent with it because they sat on them for so long. And we're like, we're fine. We got a dragon. 2 kills, a dragon. We're up about 2,000 gold. Let's just keep playing this out. We have the scaling team with Aurelia. We have it with Jinx. We're going to be fine. But then at the same time, it did not play out at all like that. Soraka coming up big. Shyvana's able to deal with Jinx in the backline with Pantheon diving. Just so much here, just clashing at each other. And that's why the game was even at that point. So,
yeah. So just so you guys know, we're getting ourselves back into the game in just a second. As we talked about it, the game was still playing on. We're going to get back in about 56 minutes into the game. We'll play out the rest of it for you guys and commentate that one. It's still live for us. I don't actually know who won or anything.
Yeah.
But
if I haven't seen it, it's new to me.
It's new to me.
Pretty much.
It's all that matters. It's like reruns are new to you as long as you haven't seen them yet. Okay, so yeah, we're now into late game situations. Team fights are explosive. I feel like there's still the edge to No Mercy, even though they're like losing Barons and things are screwing up for them. It's like the Shyvana's not getting removed, the Jinx is dying, whereas Lucian's staying alive. And to me, when you get to the hyper late game scenario, it still is about the marksman. And the fact that one team is actually able to keep theirs alive, unless their front line dies too fast and you just got nothing else to do, they're still going to be okay.
All right, and this is before Spellfang uses his ultimate to engage.
All right, here we go. Nice loud game sounds for everyone. And here we go. There we go. Awesome. Whew. Back to a decent spot with this one.
Now Spellfang
Gonna look
looks
for it.
Engage here, and there it is.
All right, here we go. Can they get the damage through in this one? The jump on in. Leona in the front lines. Nice knockup there from Lulu. Shockwave lands on a 2. This is a good fight right now. Chantal Marquel, they take down 1. There we go. Satan forced away. Lucian, though, getting some damage through. Sakutka forced away, but here comes the damage. It is on for Lucian, and no one is reaching him. Is it going to be enough there? The force flash. Oh, no.
Jinx has
he
red.
went in too hard, and the kills are getting picked up now. Chantal Marquel looking for another one. 3 kills picked up, and suddenly, actually, this Jinx and not getting caught blows up everybody.
So Spellfang's ultimate landed right on top of some chompers to zone, but also Sazed went in at the same time. These are 50-second death timers. They're going for that open inhibitor here. They will have minions behind them in a bit, but they can still tank it out with how tanky Sazed is from all of this, and the fact that they still have their marksman available.
Well, here we go. 40 seconds, 30 seconds. They're going to keep pushing on in. They've got two pretty tanky guys. Actually, I guess just one, really. Aurelia is actually sitting in the back lines, but can teleport in if she needs to. They would have some kind of ability to put her back in. So trying to defend. There is a turret there. Sazed actually fairly low on health, but Jinx is putting some good damage down. There's going to be turret number 1 picked up. There we go. The stun on a Sakutka, though. The Shyvana, hard to remove. Jinx kind of getting forced back as well. Meister doing what he can to keep his team alive, keep him in the game. 3 seconds, 2 seconds to Pantheon. Here we go. The Shockwave going to land. Will they go for the Nexus, or will the team come in time? They're trying to close it out. Is the damage going to be enough? Yes, it is. And look at that. 58 minutes in, Shantou Maktwao. They take the game in a nail-biting fashion.
It was worth the wait.
Yeah.
That was definitely worth the wait right there. It looked like Pantheon was going to make the game-winning engage, but it was the game-winning engage for Shantou Maktwao.
Yeah, they reacted to it so well.
Yeah, they did really well that game. They ended up with the 2 kills at the start. They ended up winning with a kill deficit, but objectives in their eyes. And the fact that they were able to take that Baron steal was what put them back in the game.
Yeah, I gotta say, the plays right there by Kha'Zix was super freaking awesome. The steal, of course, massive. And just the fact that they finally found a way to peel for Jinx. Like, that got 6 out of Jinx. It got to the finally Infinity Edge being done for that champion, which is the big power spike you're waiting for, but the time that tanks have real, like, tanky items in front of them. And it was there. They peeled back the Pantheon. They peeled back the Shyvana as well, despite the Lulu engage. And it was just Jinx shooting rockets at people.
Yeah, the 6 items there that they waited for.
Yeah.
And they had the scaling team. We said it from the start there. And we saw Meister, Soraka. No deaths that game.
Still no deaths.
Hey, I don't think he died at the end.
He didn't
there.
die in the last.
He was
No, he definitely
sitting
did.
there under the Nexus, just like, my
Hitting
score,
Soraka
my
all-
KDA.
Yeah, but it's not like Soraka stops AD carries from shooting.
Nope.
You can't give turrets armor.
You can silence it.
That'd be a little bit brutal. Yeah. Luckily, you can't give armor to turret. That would be crazy. Thank you, Riot, for not making that work for Soraka. And yeah, silencing Jinx doesn't really do much. So I got to say, it got to late game Jinx. She got peeled for finally in a team fight. The dive didn't work anymore. And, you know, that was a well-played team fight, finally.
Yeah. And the engage was really, you had to have it on top of Jinx. The fact that Sazed came in at the right time to use his Zenith Blade to lock up Spell, he's able to just keep him in place, and he's like, all right, you guys can't get to us. And then the fact that Shyvana was kept out from Flame Chompers the entire time was just the exact engage they needed. The Shockwave was pretty decent that fight as well.
Yeah.
So Avenue came up, you know, he was showing that his Shockwaves are about 50-50.
He hit decent ones. None of those like crazy 5-mans. Like you have to get
the Baron.
You have to
was
get
the
set
best
up.
one.
It was. Yeah, you have to get set up for the 5-man shockwaves. You can't just like get those because you're a good player. They have to be there for you. To hit the ones that were available.
Yeah.
I mean, I think No Mercy did a good job of kind of spreading out for them in general. I do want to point out though the overzealousness of No Mercy.
Yeah.
They won that first big team fight, took middle inhibitor. They stayed for Nexus turrets. Shyvana dived past the Nexus to try to get more kills. And they lost like 3-4 kills for it.
Yeah, that was another turning point for them.
Yeah.
No Mercy. They went for the Baron, it got stolen. They went for the Nexus. They went for the Throat. Thought it was going to be game. Nope.
Yeah.
The attempt was completely foiled by turrets. It really was the turrets that took them down.
Yeah.
It was like fighting 8 people.
And that's how you play from behind. Like when you play from behind, you have to defend defensible situations, right? Like you can't do the open team fight because you're behind unless your opponents misplay. You either fight around turrets and you use that to bolster your forces, or you fight around, like a big one is you fight around a pink ward, because it's like a winning team will look to control your jungle, right, to close the game out on you. You know, take your top jungle, get the Baron, whatever. And if you're like, okay, well here's a spot you're going to try to check, and you're going to try to ward. You put a pink ward down and you defend it with 5, just like the invade at the very beginning of the game. And you let a team check into you, right? It's like a Lulu goes to go grab the ward, and you're like, well, hook, get a pick, 5v4, you on the map again.
Yep.
That's kind of the way that you can take games back. And Shantou Maktwao, they did that. They defended in their base. They got back to the turrets when they needed to. They tried the team fight. A lot of them didn't work, okay, to be fair. But you pull it back, you find that sort of buttress, and then you're okay.
Yeah, and if I had to give an MVP that game, it would definitely Satan to get themselves back into it.
Yeah.
With the Baron steal. because that looked like it was going to be the end of it there. All of them had really great performances. Vanez, really rocky start, didn't let it get to him, didn't put him on tilt.
Yeah.
His build did end up working for him in the end. He swapped some things out. He's like, I don't need the Hex Drinker anymore. I don't need Alacrity anymore. Just adjusting himself to the situation. They were very, very smart choices when he needed it. So I thought he came up really big. Avenue had some shockwaves that were really decent, really good. The fact that Shantou was carrying that game, he was the main source of damage later on. And that Sazed, they played the synergy. He's like, we're bottom lane. I got your back, brother. I'm going to save you from Shyvana and Pantheon. Man and a Dragon, it's difficult.
Yeah.
And he pulled it off, though. Some Solar Flares, not the best.
Sure.
But he still, man, brought it home there at the end.
Locked up as many guys as he could.
Oh, yeah.
I actually do want to get back to the Satane point, actually, on Kha'Zix, because the Baron steal was great, and that's, like, obviously awesome.
Yeah.
What I like as well was how well he fought against the backline of No Mercy, because he would go in and pull Lucian's attention. And now keep in mind, right, this is a Kha'Zix and then an Aurelia. And the Aurelia had Trinity Force, had Zephyr, had Berserker's Greaves. So 3, and it also had a Banshee's Veil. So at most 2 armor items, right? Because you got 4 offensive or MR items, meaning that Lucian's going to cut through that champion. It's just random and Storm, which is good, but against a full item AD carry that will not leave you tanky. And so Kha'Zix threatened the Lucian, made Lulu and Lucian attack him, and then still got away from those fights, which allowed Vanez to deal damage the entire time on the other side of the fight, right? There's a replay we saw in the bottom lane fight a while back, like 50 minutes in or something like that. And it was like, Kha'Zix pulled all that attention, and it was like when the Orianna died face-checking a brush.
Yeah.
Lulu and Lucian chased that guy into the jungle, and then he got out and pushed the mid lane.
Yeah,
and
that was
the whole time.
Really
like
good
this
move
fight.
by him.
Yeah, and that should have been like a 4-for-0 fight for No Mercy, but they chased Kha'Zix.
Yeah, the only thing I want to keep an eye on for Satane is his early ganking. Like his priority of counter jungling may not work against everybody. And also the fact that if the other team recognizes it, they're like, oh, Kha'Zix is in our jungle right now. We saw him go in there. Let's go pick him off while Pantheon's bottom.
Sure.
So that's a little bump in his play style that wasn't coming up big for him here, but they didn't get super punished for it.
Yeah, the thing about that actually is that was how, if you remember SKT versus OMG from All-Stars, actually, that was how Benki played the matchup, is he would go and counter jungle the Pantheon. You'd actually find him in the jungle and kill him a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But he would focus on counter jungling in hopes of actually pushing the Pantheon out. And we never found the opposition, right? And Ganks actually got found in this case by No Mercy, but it's a play style that we've seen at the top tier, something worth emulating. Just didn't quite pay out. So guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's time for Game 2 in our Elimination Showdown when Ocelot's team, Gamers 2, takes on Heavy Bot Lane. It's coming up right after this.